I'm in two minds as to whether I should make this video. Firstly, because of the hat. I kind of liked it. Let me know what you think. Secondly, because of the subject matter at hand. I mean, at least one person, one time, once, commented on one of my videos saying, hey, can you talk about your previous drug experiences? And part of me feels like, no, I really shouldn't do that. Part of me is like, maybe it's not very responsible, it might be glorifying drug use. I never thought I would be that person that's like, oh, I should try and be responsible for others, because I'm not a role model. I'm not anyone's role model. I'm a fucking idiot. No one should look up to me, but there might be the off chance that maybe someone does. But at the same time, I am sober now. Thank you very much. Thank you, fans. Thank you, fans. I've been sober for like, what, 9 months? Maybe going on 10? So I kind of feel like I'm in this position where it's like, well, I learnt my lesson. I'm not worried about people judging me. I'm not worried about like any future jobs or whatever seeing this, because I'm going to be a professional comedian. No, I'm not worried so much about that, because I wouldn't want to work anywhere that's kind of, you know, lame about like, oh, once I did some drugs when I was younger. I mean, I did a lot of drugs, but I don't do that now, so that's not the point. I feel like this whole video, I'm just going to be rearranging how my hair looks in the viewfinder, so sorry if that gets annoying really fast. But on the other hand, I was reading some old Vice articles the other day, back when Vice was actually like funny and used to be good. And there was this one that was like, what's the most cringeworthy thing you've done on mdma? And someone said that they had this whole conversation with their friend about pork pies, but their friend wasn't there. And I tried to film this video the other week, but I thought it was kind of shit, so I scrapped it because I scripted it. And today I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go off a script, just going to go off like my own brains and stuff. Hopefully I can actually remember it all properly. I guess disclaimer, I'm not your dad. I'm not your dad. I'm not going to sit here and just be like, don't do drugs, kids, don't do drugs. People are going to experiment. I think it's fine to experiment. Make sure you're of like a responsible age, and make sure that you're not a fucking idiot about it if you are going to do drugs, because realistically, like, you are going to experiment, like, a few of you, not the majority, maybe the majority, I don't fucking know. Ugh, I'm rambling. But I kind of want to do something a little bit different today and do a story time about the dumbest experience I ever had on, maybe not drugs, because I'm sure I've done like worse. But this is more of one of the funniest ones. No one gets hurt in it, no one dies. It's not the most drugs I've ever done. It's not the most I've ever been out of it, but it's funny. It's funny to me, it's funny to my friend. I mean, this happened a few years ago and we still laugh about it to this day. He thought I'd gone mad, but like in a fun way. So yeah, this is the time that I went a little bit crazy on mdma. I've never really done a story time before, so if it's a little bit like stilted in some places, or if it's a bit weird and awkward, my bad. So this starts a few years ago when I first moved to London. I was working at this bar in Mayfair, and this happened in January, at the end of January, because I was doing dry January. For those of you who aren't aware, dry January is this thing where we Brits, I think it's a British thing, we don't drink for all of January, and then at the end of it we ruin all of that hard work by getting absolutely as like shit-faced as possible. You know, because I guess it's after December, it's after the Christmas, like the winter holiday period, where one has overindulged. So January is about like going to the gym, pretending you're going to be doing that for, you know, longer than January, eating healthily, not drinking alcohol. So I was doing that because I thought, hey, my drinking's getting a little bit out of control. Is that foreshadowing for the fact that I now have to be sober? It is what it is. So I was working in this bar, and it was right at the end of dry January. It was the 31st of January. 30 days have September, April, June and November. All the rest of 31, yes. 31st of January. And my best mate slash flatmate at the time had, well, he's still my best friend, not my flatmate anymore, had come to the bar to kind of, I don't know, I guess like hang out with me. And it was the 31st, and I remember saying to my manager, bro, I've gone like 31 days without drinking. My birthday's in January and I stayed sober for it. Hey, good for me. And he was drunk and he replied, oh, well done. Grab yourself a beer and put it on my tab. So I did that. And that day at the bar, we had this new ale. I think it was called Jaipur. It was like a light ale. I remember saying to my flatmate, oh mate, you gotta try some of this because it's really light, it's really flavoursome. That's a key point in this story. It's not really a key anything, it's just like more of a funny little quirk. So me and my friend decided, let's have this large, like let's go nuts as two broke bitches can when in Mayfair. We probably got a few drinks and then just gave up and like went home and bought beers on the way home, because we ended up bar hopping and then we did go home. And we were quite inebriated at this point when my friend said, oh, well, I don't know if he said this exactly because this was a few years ago, but at some point he pulled out a bag of MDMA, crystal MDMA, that he was going to take at a rave, I guess. Now, back in the day when I was younger, before it kind of fucked up my brain, I was like a fiend when it came to MDMA. I'd just be like, yes, all of it. How much? All of it. Okay, let's just do all of it. Once there was this post on Reddit that my friend, the same friend I'm talking about in this story, sent me, because it was on like the subreddit R took too much, and this guy's like in this chair, obviously at this festival, obviously very British, you can just tell, like just all over the place. And in the comments they were talking about drug use, and one of the comments was like, oh, these Brits are crazy, like they'll have 500 milligrams of MDMA in the night. And my friend sent it to me, and he was like, I thought that was normal. That's a normal night, like to have at least 500 milligrams, or like try and have a gram of MDMA, which now looking back, it's like, no wonder I'm the age I am now and I'm fucked up. Younger me was a fucking dickhead. So we dove into this bag of MDMA. I think there are a few factors as to, oh yeah, by the way, Dad, if you're watching this video, I'm going to tell you not to, but maybe don't listen to this video. Oh, it's only MDMA, who cares? It's only MDMA, it's only a class A drug. But I mean, out of all of them, like compared to alcohol, you're not going to smash someone's face in if you're on MDMA, probably not. Like, you're probably not going to get into a fight, or you're probably just going to like give someone a hug and chat shit about this one thing that happened in your childhood when you were 4 years old. But there are a few factors as to why I went a bit loopy that night, I think. Firstly, I was probably very sleepy. Like, I don't think I'd gotten that much sleep, and I'd probably done a double at work that day, so I was tired. Secondly, I hadn't been drinking, for a whole month. So my tolerance to alcohol had gone down, so the alcohol was hitting me a lot harder. And if you drink and like do MDMA at the same time, it can have like some funny side effects. I remember we took the MDMA and we're sitting on like my bedroom floor, because when you're getting high in MDMA, like sitting down feels really good. Again, I'm not condoning drug use. I'm not saying go do a gram of MDMA and like sit down. What a great, just sit down. That's all I'm saying is it feels fucking good. So we were just sitting down on the floor, like listening to music, chatting away. And then like, if you take too much, it makes your eyes roll around like that. I probably look so attractive right now. It makes your eyes roll around like that, like spinning out of this universe. And I found I think this was the first time it had happened to me, but through subsequent MDMA highs over like the next few years, I found that like if you do a lot and you're tired, and if you do this right combination of all three factors, it's almost like you're slipping, you slip into, when you can't open your eyes fully, you slip into this waking consciousness, a sleep consciousness, like kind of, when you're really tired and you fall into REM sleep straight away, rapid eye movement sleep. So your dreams are really vivid and can be lucid. I feel that if you do a bit too much and there's the right varying factors surrounding like your high, that can happen. And it was happening to me because I was sitting on the floor talking to my friend. And I'm like lolling around, just like, probably just being like, I love you so fucking much, man. You're like my bestest friend in the world. Oh my God, oh my God. And then I remember I worked in a bar. And then I kind of did this hand movement, waited for it to settle, because this is a Guinness. I don't know if you can tell right now, but this is a Guinness. Tops it up. Here you go, mate. And my friend's just kind of like, cheers for the imaginary Guinness. Tasty. And I kind of come to just, that was a bit weird, wasn't it? Never mind. I was chatting away. And then it kind of, I can't help myself. My eyes kind of go a bit funny again. And remember I told you about, you know, that key point in this plot about the ale, the Jaipur. When you give someone a taster of ale, you just put a tiny bit in a glass, you give it to them and they could taste it. And earlier that night I had said to my mate, you've got to try here's a bit of this taster of this ale. And then I did the same thing again. Whilst I'm talking to him, just kind of closed my eyes and went, mate, you've really got to try this ale, it's really nice. And I did this moment in time, he's just kind of like, you're right. Like, we're in your room, we're not at your bar right now. And then from then on in, if you can't tell, things started to get a little bit more wavy. Because I laughed, just, well, that's kind of weird. That's kind of weird, nothing more to say about that. It's almost as if your subconscious is briefly taking over your conscious mind, because obviously these were things that happened earlier in the day, and there's a dispute amongst scientists as to whether dreams are your brain trying to sift through like your memories of the day or whatever they are, and it kind of felt like something like that was going on. I remember actually when we were listening to music, on iTunes, you know, it comes up with the tiny little like disc image of the CD. I remember looking at it, and the little disc image grew legs and it was running just in the spot, and it was tiny and it was just running, and I knew from then on in, oh, this is gonna get wavy. My friend, what's the weird thing about mdma is when you see something like that, if you point it out to your mate, they will start to see it too, usually. I've had it before where I lift up a cup and it's full of cobwebs inside, and I've gone, fucking hell, look at those cobwebs. They've gone, oh shit, yeah, it's really suggestible. And another thing about this story as well, the general consensus seems to be that if you take too much MDMA, like a high dose of it, it will make you hallucinate because it converts to MDA or something like that. I don't know the fucking science of it, but it converts to something else if you've taken a high dose, and that's where you can hallucinate. And the general consensus amongst my friends is that drugs just hit me differently. Alcohol, weed, cocaine, it all just hits me differently. And I've never really my friends, for as long as I've known them, have never really allowed me to take classic hallucinogens like LSD or magic mushrooms, because it would just go wrong, and they're very right. And obviously I don't do anything now. I've had like bad experiences of things. And it's not a weight thing, because for some people, like if you're thinner or whatever, because I'm like an average weight now and I was an average weight back then, and it still just hits me in a different way. Even when I was underweight when I was younger, drugs would still hit me in a different way. It's something still in my brain. Don't know what it is. I guess it might just be the way I'm hardwired. Drugs and alcohol is a drug. It's not a drug, it's a drink. Just hit me differently and seem to affect me more so than the average person. And all of my friends can attest to that. But whilst I have an ability to get more fucked up than everyone else, I also have the ability to keep on going. The amount of times I've been at a session, I've been the last man standing, delirious from doing far too much gear. Like, stop, you fucking idiot, before you overdose. It's not cool, and it's not, actually it is funny, but it's not cool. So this happens and I laugh it off, and my next clearest memory, and remember, this happened a few years ago, so for what I don't remember, my friend remembers, and he told me and, you know, helped me fill in the gaps, because there's a lot I don't remember about this, but there's a lot I do remember. And my next recollection is, because as I mentioned before, the ground feels really, really good to sit on when you're off your rocker. We put loads of duvets and pillows and cushions and whatnot on the ground, and I was kind of lying there, just like, we were in my bedroom, so I was lying next to my bed on the floor and he's kind of like sitting next to me, and I guess I was like leaning on him. MDMA makes you really cuddly with people as well, and I'm just like having a conversation, just chatting away, happy as Larry, like, hey, how are you, how have you been, how's your day going, la la la. And my friend's just like, who are you talking to? And I respond to that with, excuse me, don't interrupt, can't you see I'm having a lovely conversation? And he says, yeah, I can see that, but who are you talking to? I remember it's just us in my room listening to music off our heads, and I say with complete sincerity, my bed. I was just talking to my bed about how its day had been going, like it was the most normal thing in the fucking world to talk to a piece of furniture about the minutiae of their day. So I laugh it off like, wow, I'm fucked. Have I ever been this fucked before? Just chatting away in my bed. Ha 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 ha. It's fine. And again, I just start drifting kind of in and out of consciousness, eyes swirling around like that. And the next thing I remember is when I come to, I'm again just chatting away, really happy, just happiest person in the world, chatting away. The problem is though, I was talking to my clothes hanger. I was still lying on the floor and my clothes hanger was in the corner, and I was talking to my clothes hanger about, I don't know, working in the bar that day. Whilst this is all going on, my friend is sitting next to me. He didn't say this at the time. He let me go on with it. My friend was sitting next to me thinking to himself, have we gone too far this time? Should I potentially call an ambulance? Because she seems happy enough, but she's talking to inanimate objects. Like, imagine being in his position. He wanted to hang out and have a good time with his best mate. Meanwhile, his best mate is so fucked up that she would rather talk to pieces of furniture than talk to him. I'm sure I didn't mean it in that way, but still. Then again, like, if you had the opportunity to talk to your bed, would you pass that up? The third and final time I remember this happening that night is I'm lying on the floor and I was looking up straight up at the ceiling. Just like, dude, how's it going? I'm good, what have you been up to? And I open my eyes and I say with like the smallest voice, and I remember this just being like, hey man, how's it going? Oh no, I'm doing it again, aren't I? I'm talking to things. And my friend is just like, oh, he's kind of trying to keep it together for my sake, because one part of him finds it really funny, but another part of him finds it really concerning. He's just like, yeah, you are, but you know what? It looks like you're having a lovely time, and really, that's all that matters, right? And then just before I blacked out and lost 6 hours of my life that I am never going to get back, this weird thing used to happen to me where if I got too like fucked up on MDMA, objects would start looking like people, but still retaining their outside external appearance. So I would look at a chair and some bags, and they would look like people shaped like chairs and bags. Like they wouldn't, it's not like aphanesia or whatever it's called, where you can whatever, can't pronounce words, doesn't matter, let's skip past that, bit embarrassing. It's not that where you can recognise faces in objects. It's they would just look like people, object-shaped people, but it's very difficult to explain. But people who it's happened to, you'll know it. You'll get what I'm trying to say. I remember looking at the back of my door where some coats were hung, and suddenly the coats looked like an old man. Coat-shaped man? Man-shaped coat? Who knows, but it was old and like kind of hunched over, and they just disappeared in front of my eyes. Like, okay, that's weird, but I'm going to roll with it, because when you're that level of mashed, you just roll with these things. It's not concerning. So after this old man-shaped coat rack thing disappeared, I disappeared. I blacked out for about 6 hours. The next thing you know, when I came to, I was lying on the ground, like my friend was just like sitting there listening to music still for 6 whole fucking hours. What a weird person. But I kind of came to just like, bro, it's 9 a.m. What the fuck happened? Where did my life go? And there are a few interesting things to note. I definitely wasn't lucid, but I don't think I was, and I definitely wasn't coherent. Where am I trying to go with the sentence? I don't think I was awake, conscious for the whole 6 hours. I think at some point I drifted off and then like came to and being like, oh fucking, it's 9 a.m. But for a good few hours I was awake. And my friend told me an interesting thing happened where I thought my sister had walked past the bedroom window. So I got up and shouted, being like, hey, sister's name, hey, look, come in. And I was like, oh, that's interesting's the word we're going to go for. That's interesting that I hallucinated my sister walking past the window. Yeah, a bit odd. And he was like, oh, no, here's the funny thing. You didn't hallucinate that she walked past the window, where one could see out of. You hallucinated that she walked past your closed door. Like, I either saw through the closed door, or I don't know. But apparently I jumped up and there were like my other flatmates were in, and it's like 4 a.m. and I was shouting, being like, hey, come in. And he had to like sit me down, just like, no, shut up, you've had too much. We don't want anyone waking up and finding you in this state. Just imagine me standing in front of a closed door, just like, hey, my sister, hey, come in, what are you doing? Come in, sit down. Ever sit down? The floor's really comfortable to sit on. That's it, really. That's the only story at this moment in time I'm willing to share about one of my previous drug experiences, one of many. It's not cool and it's not funny. Don't do drugs because you'll end up like this. Don't do drugs. Nah, I'm joking. You can do what you want. But I'm just warning you. Just warning. If you do drugs, you might end up like me with spaghetti and mashed potatoes for brains. But again, like I said at the beginning, and I'm really still not sure whether I'm going to put this up or not, we'll just have to see. It's just a pretty funny, pretty harmless story. No one really got hurt. I was fine after I had a good night's sleep. I couldn't really believe it. But yes, that is the only drug story I will share on my channel for now. We'll see about, like, you know, future stories. I mean, a lot of the stories I'd probably get in trouble for telling. So yeah, that I guess is my story time about the time I did so much MDMA that the bed became my best friend. And my bed to this day still is my best friend. He's seen me through some hard times. He's seen me through some good times. We've been there for each other. He's been the only stable thing in my life. Bit of a change of pace, but if you enjoyed this and want to see more, maybe not about drugs, but maybe about other stuff. I've got a lot of stories. I'm narcissistic like that. If you want to see more, then just do let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you thought of this. Don't just tell me I'm a fucking idiot. I know that. That was me, like, from ages ago. That was past me, a different me. Now I'm sober and I'm not put together at all. In fact, I'm even stupider than before. If anything, I think drugs and alcohol leveled me out because I've just gotten dumber. The more sober I stay, the more childlike I actually become. But if you did enjoy this video, then do remember to like, comment, subscribe. And that's all. I guess I'll see you next time. Bye. Stay in bed, don't do drugs.